What's up, guys? It's Geo, and we're back on Smogun. And when you see this screen, and you see XYOU Suspect process round 6 voting, you know that it is time for another Geotalks meta. It's been about like 2.5, 3 weeks since the last Geotalks meta, but there's just not been that much news for me to cover, I guess. Like I could cover stuff on lower tiers and or Poke Battle, but it's just easier to talk about the OU stuff. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about the future of Geotalks meta. I'm here to talk about the future of the OU metagame. So, recently, people have been talking about the Mega Mawile ban, and in order for Mega Mawile to get banned, it needed a 60% supermajority. And this should show you guys kind of how many people wanted it banned. So, 80 people voted in like the first 24 hours. Mawilite needed 59 votes to ban, and it's sitting at an 80% ban vote right now, meaning that like 80% of the people who have already voted are like, no, that thing needs to go, which honestly kind of shows its brokenness and why, frankly, it needs to go. And so I guess I'll kind of recap the how the voting process, or basically I'll kind of recap the main points on either side. I'll start with the no ban side. The no ban side arguments, frankly, were a little bit sketch, if I do say so myself. They were like, oh, well, Sucker Punch isn't that strong, and like Will-O-Wisp, and each set has counters, an Arcanine, and defensive Charizard Y. And those were like the main arguments to like, oh yeah, it has like checks and counters and whatnot. But like frankly, there weren't that many great pro or anti-ban arguments, if I do say so myself. Because like I was talking about this in the comments with somebody. Like Arcanine is probably the best true counter to Mega Mawile that there is, because it's bulky and it has Morning Sun. It can break its subs easily, but like I love Arcanine, but I do not want to run Arcanine in OU. There are better fire types to run. I would much rather run Mega Charizard X or Talonflame over having to like dedicate an entire team spot, not as just like, oh, this is a general physical attacker threat, or oh, this is like my general like water check. Like you needed to pack a Mega Mawile check, or else your team was literally eaten alive. And I'm just going to read this post right here to sum up all the pro-ban arguments, because this is honestly the best post, in my opinion, made in the entire thread. Mega Mawile has an unmatched combination of sweeping potential, wall-breaking potential, typing, and the right stats/move pool to do exactly what it needs to do. That thing being absolutely terrorizing teams of every playstyle. Nothing can even come close to having all these combined attributes to the same effect of Mawile, and his presence shapes the metagame like very little else, forcing everyone to run stuff like Choice Specs Keldeo, which is obviously very good even without Mawile, but a lot more so with it around, as it's one of the very few Pokemon preventing offense from auto-losing to Mega Mawile, or risk getting swept when it inevitably uses its above-average defenses and unbelievably good typing to set up on very common Pokemon such as Latios, Azumarill, Ferrothorn, Talonflame locked in a Brave Bird, or even Pokemon such as Terrakion and Hippowdon if the situation dictates it. And Mawile both has the health to shrug off her hits and is in a position to sweep. So, that sentence right there pretty much embodies, I said embodies, what? Pretty much embodies most of the arguments on the pro-ban side, because people can, like, just think about this. The fact alone that we're talking about a Pokemon with base 50 speed that has nearly unmatched sweeping potential is pretty weird in and of itself, and that translates to how much raw power and very few, if at all, counter that it has that don't like suck in the OU metagame otherwise, just putting it very bluntly, because like no matter what set you try to wall, you can get beaten very easily by Mega Mawile, because even if you're running like two very standard Pokemon such as like Latios and Heatran, if your Latios doesn't carry, your Latios gets forced into a 50-50, because if your Latios has HP Fire, then you have to predict, oh, is Mawile going to Swords Dance? Is it going to Sucker Punch? Like, what do I do? And you have a Heatran just chilling in the back. If you decide, oh, I'm fearing the Sucker Punch, I'm switching to Heatran, and Mawile subs up on the switch, you lose both your Pokemon because, because it Focus Punches Heatran and Sucker Punches Latios. And, I'm not kidding when I say this. It 2-hit KOs every Pokemon in the OU metagame after Rocks. Skarmory gets O-Code by a +2 Fire Fang. And, even gets 2-hit KO'd by Focus Punch, gets 2-hit KO'd by Fire Fang. Arcanine gets 2-hit KO'd by Sucker Punch and or Focus Punch after Rocks. Even defensive Charizard X, max defense, max HP, Charizard X, gets 2-hit KO'd by Focus Punch. Now that's a Pokemon that was designed to stop things like Bisharp and Mega Mawile from running train on teams. But it still can't because it loses to Focus Punch. And so I'm just going to jump back into the post to kind of follow where I need to go. Mawile is sweeping a large portion of offensive teams with very little weakening and very little support, whether it's at 50% or 20%. People also say its Sucker Punch is weak because it doesn't have Stab, which is pretty ridiculous. Again, does it really matter that you don't have Stab when your priority eclipses Arceus' Silk Scarf boosted extreme speed and power? It's like people are looking for reasons this thing hasn't gotten quick banned instead of reasons for it not getting banned. And that kind of sums up most of the arguments that are like, oh, we shouldn't ban Mega Mawile, because most of them are like, oh, but it's not that broken. Like, they're still acknowledging that it's broken. And so basically, Mega Mawile makes offense as a playstyle completely unviable, which is one reason it should be banned, because, if one Pokemon completely shuts down an entire playstyle, then it's not a very healthy thing for the metagame. And this paragraph talks about Stall, which is pretty important to me. And this doesn't even go into its ability to break Stall just as well. Stall has 3 viable checks to it that are borderline garbage, borderline gimmicky, or both. Out of those 3, Bulky Charizard Y, Mega Venusaur with Leech Seed HP Fire, or Sleep Powder HP Fire, and Defensive Heatran with Will-O-Wisp, which is just garbage in and of itself. The only one that is remotely hard to wear down is Heatran, who can do anything to you without Will-O-Wisp except Lava Pluming, hoping that it burns because it's not O-Coing, and then stalling you out with Protect. While you could argue every sweeper sweeps with its counters gone, well, that's the point. Mega Mawile's counters are not only extremely easy for a capable offensive team to wear down, but also aren't on every stall team, such as Charizard X and Mega Scizor are used for their ability to check other offensive threats. Oh, but the Thunderous Landers don't need a lot of support, destroy defensive teams, and destroy a stall course without the dedicated count as well. Thunderous Landers don't run around with Swords Dance and the ability to launch 80 base power priority moves off one of the best offensive types in the game, and an effective attack stat of 678, and a stab move that destroys even the bulkiest that resists, and obviously everything that doesn't resist it. So that paragraph pretty much explains why it makes 2 out of 4 or 5 main playstyles completely unviable, because stall teams are designed to not break down under offensive pressure. When one Pokemon single-handedly can 6-0 stall, and I don't say that kiddingly or jokingly whatsoever, the fact that if you Mega Evolve with Mawile and set up a sub, you're essentially behind a sub, you get a free hit with a base 678 attack, or not a base 678 attack, but with 678 attack, then, that's a problem. And so this basically talks about Sub Punch right here, which is personally my favorite set to run, because people anticipate, Swords Dance Fire Fang to beat Skarmory, but, anyway, there's also a Sub Punch set, which in my opinion isn't as close to as good as the standard SD set, but still has some uses. Some people argue that as soon as Heatran switches in a substitute, the jig is up and Heatran can switch out to something that deals with Sub Punch Mawile, completely ignoring the fact that this not only pretty much requires you to run Venusaur and Heatran, as nothing on either your standard offensive or defensive team, barring Venusaur and physically defensive Amoonguss, can even switch into Focus Punch as well as its stab moves, but also the fact that Mawile can simply go for a Focus Punch right off the bat, as Heatran is usually a pretty safe first look, and it doesn't require you to waste health on a substitute. Also, while status might deal decently with Swords Dance Mawile, there's at least one Pokemon on your standard offensive team that has no problem taking that Will-O-Wisp, such as Latios, especially after taking a clean 60% of your Rotom's health with Play Rough on the Switch. People really need to stop looking at these situations as 1v1 battles and start thinking of them as in common battle conditions. Mawile absolutely has no problem wearing down those counters or even killing them, especially as far as Rotom W is far from hard to switch into. All in all, Mawile has all the tools to make it ridiculously difficult to stop with offense, balance, and stall alike, such as its typing, its move pool, its stats, and of course, its powerful attacks. There's nothing that beats it that isn't borderline gimmicky or just straight up bad. The ease with which Mega Mawile absolutely destroys all styles of play is unbelievable in my opinion and deserves to be banned, liked by 46 people. So this basically shows that this is the popular opinion right here. Mega Mawile makes 3 entire playstyles unviable. Not to mention those are the 3 most common playstyles: balance, stall, hyper offense. Done. Like, I guarantee you 90% of players play offense, balance, or stall. 90% of players, because there's so very few people playing like momentum stall or semi stall right now, because like they're not that good. So like when a Pokemon completely dominates the entire meta and 2-hit KOs it all, like I believe it deserves to go, and I'm glad it went. And I suppose now is a good time to take a look at what the future of OU may look like. There's a couple more Pokemon that are on the chopping block, I do believe. The first of which is Mega Gardevoir. Mega Gardevoir could potentially go because it makes stall pretty unviable, and it pretty much destroys balance. It loses pretty hard versus offense, but that's 2 playstyles that it makes pretty unviable. Mega Charizard X could also go, just because Mega Charizard X is pretty much has the potential to win the game every single time you throw it out, just because if you Swords Dance, then, or if you Dragon Dance and your opponent sends in Heatran and you have Earthquake and that's their Mega Charizard X check, then they're gone. Like, Mega Charizard X is pretty good. I'm not quite sure I would ban Mega Charizard X, but I would definitely be on the fence about it. And then the last thing that is kind of looking at being banned right now, if I am interpreting things correctly, is going to be Thundurus. Thundurus is pretty broken in my opinion, because it provides pretty much impeccable team support, because the ability to priority taunts and Thunder Wave everything you see, and also hit like a Mack truck at the same time, and being able to set up a nasty plot if you want to, is pretty hard to beat with the combination of both team support and raw power. But anyway, that has been today's episode. It's like 12:30 a.m. when I'm recording this. It's a Sunday. That has been today's episode of Geopolitics Meta. So if you guys did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like, because it really does help show support for the stuff that I'm doing here on the channel. Also, make sure to answer today's comment question of the video, which is, what do you guys think of the Mega Mawile banning? Are you guys in favor of it? Are you guys not? I kind of want to hear you guys' opinions. And with that, I urge you guys to subscribe if you guys are enjoying the constant content. And with that, I'll catch you on the flip-flop.